Did you think I was just going to tell you to go out and make friends like Scotty Small's mom did in The Sandlot? No, I have concrete ideas for you. I want to give you a 4-step process, plus a bonus tip, which might be the best tip of all, that will help you feel ready to let yourself be seen by others. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hopefully Ever After. My name is Cassie. We're inside a special series right now all about the phenomenon of AI companionship. This is episode 4, and it's the last one in this series. So if you missed any of the first 3, I'll link them below so you can catch up with those first ones, because today we're taking all of what we have just explored in those 3 episodes and making it practical, which is my favorite thing. We've covered the recent research into AI companionship, the reasons why the human yearning for friendship is in fact so natural and so good for us, and how it's even a glaring reflection of the image of God in you. And also in the last episode, a bunch of reasons why an AI chatbot can never and will never be a good option for a friend. We've looked at all of this through the lens of how and why humanity was made in the first place. So we're not sitting here talking about surface level stuff. You'll want to catch up with that before you do this one if you're interested in that stuff. I'm so excited to finally be getting practical about this. Personally, I am a doer, and I'm positive that I have annoyed more than one friend with my constant attempts to help them do something about problems that they tell me about, when a lot of people are really just looking for a listener. I'm working on that, like always working on something. But today we're going to go through actual ideas for going out and finding your people. Did you think I was just going to tell you to go out and make friends like Scotty Small's mom did in The Sandlot? No, I have concrete ideas for you. I want to give you a 4-step process, plus a bonus tip, which might be the best tip of all, that will help you feel ready to let yourself be seen by others. If you're here, if you've made it this far, then you are to go out and actually find, people who have your same interests. So feel free to get out your favorite note-taking utensils. And before we get to the ideas, let me say I can already hear your protests about how it's going to be weird and awkward to introduce yourself to another person. Let me also say that I know. Believe me, when I say I still have to overcome an urge to walk the other way when I'm going to be meeting someone new or having a conversation with someone that I don't know very well. I promise that's true. I don't always feel like I have the words to say right off the top of my head, and it makes me a little bit nervous. But it always ends up going way better than I thought it would, right? Like, most people are very nice and they're very easy to just have a chat with. And then every time you do it, it stacks up one more time you've interacted with that person, and it makes it that much easier the next time. So yes, it probably will feel a little bit awkward and intimidating in the beginning, but just remember that that's totally normal and expected for anybody. That's even for people who are naturally extroverted, okay? We still have those feelings too. It just comes with the territory of allowing yourself to be seen and be vulnerable with other people, which is our whole goal here, remember? Okay, all right, we're gonna jump in. Our 4 steps are gonna be making it ordinary, okay? I'm gonna call that consistency, and just stick with me and let me make that one make sense a little bit in a minute. Number 2, giving someone multiple chances before you decide that it isn't for you. We'll call that multiplicity. Number 3, sticking to one thing at a time in the beginning, okay? We'll call that stickability. And finally, number 4 is vulnerability, and we'll go through all of these together. Okay, so number 1, make it ordinary. Okay, I'm going to make this make sense with the consistency thing in a minute. You're the only one inside your mind. You're the only one in there thinking that other people either don't like you or that they won't like you when they meet you. And I think that's pretty normal. A lot of us will think, oh, my friend didn't text me back within 10 minutes. They must be mad at me, right? Like we live in our own minds about everything. And we're always like projecting our own fears onto the motives of other people. And our fear can make it hard to see that that person is really just living their own life, and they're probably in their own head about their own fears, right? Like, most people are not out in the world waiting to meet someone new that they didn't like that day. I don't think that most people are really paying that much attention to others around them at all. But when someone approaches them, in my experience, most people are pretty happy to meet a new person and to interact with them, even if it's brief, even if it's a formal setting, like if you have to meet people for your job or something. Those types of meetings can be really formal, and it can make it seem like that's the only time or the only way that you'll be interacting with each other. But if you are really pleasant and you make it seem like, oh, I am really actually glad to meet you, that kind of opens up the potential of that relationship later on, just to get to know them better instead of making it a very formal one and done type of thing. And another thing I mean by make it ordinary is that it is very, very ordinary to spend time with people regularly. The early church is a great example of this. It's evidence that it's actually really good to be together with others very regularly, and you can read that in Acts 2 if you want. They were devoted to fellowship, to meals together, to prayer together, and that was daily. Most of us don't even think of fellowshipping and eating meals with our friends every day, but it sounds pretty great to me to have life set up that way. But this is how consistency makes sense with this idea. Our habits form our way of life. This isn't going to be a one and done meeting, but that's also what makes it less intimidating. It's not like the entire future of any friendship is resting on one single encounter for anyone. That's how habit works in every area of life. Consistency is what always pays off. If you want St. Paul's recommendation, you can read it in his letter to the Hebrews in chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. He warns them against neglecting to meet together because disconnection can become a habit through consistency, just the same as connection can. I always think the further away you get from a habit, that it just feels that much harder to get back into it. And when all it really takes is getting over that little nervous bump in the road that makes you feel like if you try again, surely you will fail again, okay? Which is fine. We all try and fail at lots of things all the time. You can always come back from it. Because even if you do fail again, so what? Where else are you going, Like you're waking up here tomorrow again anyway, so just keep going. That's consistency. All right, number 2. We'll call this multiplicity. This is so practical and so easy to remember. Whenever I'm inviting a new teen to check out our ministry, I always say, give us 3 chances before you decide if you want to be part of our group or not. Because inevitably, we always have a new teen come on weird nights where we're like walking to the cemetery to pray for souls or giving a chastity talk or something. Like, we've never met these teens before. And we're always like, welcome. We're so glad you're here. It's not always like this, just so you know. These experiences that we're offering are really good for our teens who are more familiar with us as leaders, more familiar with our group, maybe even just more familiar with Catholic teaching. Like, we have a lot of teens that aren't religious at all, so they come on cemetery or chastity night and they're like, oh my gosh, what have I walked into? And I'm like, yeah, I know that's super weird, but just come 2 more times so you can see how we normally are. So my advice is, wherever you decide to go, just commit to trying it 3 separate times. There will probably be different people there each time. There'll be different things to do. And you might hit it off with someone right away, or it might take until that 3rd time when more people start to recognize your face. But you don't want to give up too early, because it's going to feel awkward at first. It's going to feel like you don't belong there. And remember, that is normal. Even extroverts can feel intimidated by initiating conversations with new people. But each time you go to that thing and you increase your familiarity with the surroundings and the happenings there, you'll build confidence, you'll build conversations with people, and that will just become more natural. Try to remember things that people tell you about their lives so that the next time you see them, you can ask about it, So go 3 times at least, and don't judge any new group by what it feels like to be brand new there. Just give people a chance. All right, the next one we're calling stickability. And that just means that I think it would be a good idea to stick to one thing at a time, in the beginning. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit motivated and confident as we go through these, but don't let these feelings get you, all excited to the point where you're thinking, I'm going to try 5 new groups, at once. You're going to want to have the capacity to handle a new commitment, obviously, and experiences like with people, like you don't want to have to try to be remembering too many people at a time before you start branching out. I'm not saying, if you decide one group or activity really isn't for you that you shouldn't move on, because you should. I'm just saying, like, let's keep our eye on the prize here, which is a friend or two where you can really build a relationship, because that requires consistency and multiplicity to get those thriving. So I'm just saying, like, leave a little bit of extra space in your own life and your schedule for that to happen. Like, what are you into that you think would be fun to share with other people? There are groups out there, I think, for just about anything now. If like running and rec sports, like pickleball is huge where I live. Art clubs, reading, books, games, some things that I wish I had time to do in this season of life I'm in. I think a book club would be awesome. And if you already go to a church, see what's happening there. But a group built around a thing that everybody likes automatically gives you great conversation material, right? Because everyone has at least one shared interest. And then it's not just small talk, which is great. You pick something you're already into, unless you are really wanting to also try a new hobby, and then just find the closest thing to you and try it out. All right, the last element is vulnerability. And you know that I can't stress this enough. It's the reason that we're sitting here talking about this, because it's hard to do. It's the only reason that any real relationship, even a friendship, works long term. It's non-negotiable that you are open to being a little bit vulnerable in the beginning with people that you meet. And by a little bit, I mean willing to introduce yourself, give a little bit of information on your life, your likes and dislikes. And a little bit further down the road, more than the surface level, like, how are you? Good. What do you do? It always ends up being about work, like, how do we get to a place where, like, with other human beings, the first thing and sometimes the only thing we talk about is work? I guess some people have like really interesting jobs, but most of the time I'm just like, that's so boring. I'm much more interested in, like, where they're from. Were they always from here? Did they move here from somewhere? If so, what brought them here? Where's their family? Do they have their own family? What types of things do we have in common? So whatever your current feelings are about being vulnerable, you just need to go in willing to let someone else see you. Genuinely be interested in getting to know another person and just reciprocate when they try to get to know you. So those are the 4 steps. If you genuinely were not sure how to start looking for some good friendships, I hope those steps feel doable. I'm also going to give you my bonus tip, which I wouldn't say is a requirement, but I have learned that it's the most effective mode of building and sustaining deep friendships. And it will require you thinking of something that you are really passionate about and then finding others who also are passionate about that thing. And I think that thing necessarily needs to include helping others in some way. For instance, I have a passion for educating young people in our church about who God is and why they want to choose Him over all of the other options out there. And through that volunteer work, I have naturally made the best friends I could ever ask for. We've built things together. We've had common enemies, which sounds dramatic, but that just means we've faced, common challenges. We've overcome those challenges together. And at this point, we've lived through multiple life stages together and stuck with each other through thick and thin. And I just really never expected that when I was growing up. I saw my parents kind of float in and out of a lot of friendships, and I had a hard time myself relating to like girls my age when I was in high school. And I kind of migrated towards more male friendships at that age because they were just fun and they were drama free. So then I just never expected to have a dozen different female friends in adulthood who are not just great friends, but who I personally admire. And they are constantly reminding me, just by the way they are, to try to be better. And I also really feel like I can just count on them to love me for who I am. But when I look at the list of them, I have done volunteer work with almost all of them. And we're facing the same types of challenges, and we're growing together in parenting and marriage stages. And it's just a blessing to share life with that many good people. And we live in a very, very small community. So that just tells me that there are really good people to be found everywhere. Like, I didn't just grow up in a town of less than 5,000 people and I accidentally found all the people there are to be really great friends with in a really specific niche, where these relationships are being formed in this tiny town. It's just the circumstances that we've put ourselves in and the types of people we've surrounded ourselves with and the level to which we've allowed ourselves to be vulnerable with each other. So that's kind of my secret. We've given of ourselves in that way. We've shared a mutual sacrifice for the good of others. And that's been sort of a turbo boost, for friendships in my life. So that's my bonus tip, which I think is the best one. Like I said, I don't think it is necessary to find friends, but I am just telling you, if you want to find really meaningful friendships, I think it's great to just be working together on something that is going to benefit others and be bigger than yourselves. So if after all this, you're thinking, okay, Cassie, I am going to go out. I'm going to go out and try a new thing and introduce myself to new people. But you're like, I'm just nervous about what I'm going to say when I get there. Totally get that, okay? I have a very, very simple line, very short, and I would say it's going to work anywhere you go, okay? You just say, hi, I'm your name. This is my first time here. And that's it. I don't think I've ever gone to a group of any type who would not have instantly welcomed someone who said that and just said, hey, I'm so-and-so. I've never been here before. And that's all you got to do. You're going to start a conversation with somebody like that. And all the hard work of introducing yourself is done. So that's all I've got for now. If you're ready to get out there and try to meet some people, I hope you try these steps and I hope that they work for you. And wherever you are in this journey of looking for your people, just remember that you're not alone. You never have been and you never will be. Christ is always with you. Don't discount him. You can ask him to help to lead you to the people that he wants you to be friends with too. We're not supposed to do this life alone. We weren't made to do this life alone. And you don't have to. I hope this has helped or will help someone out there. I will be back soon, and I'm excited because I am making some major changes to the trajectory of this channel, and I think it is going to be pretty great. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be back soon. Bye.